Hey there, welcome to Black Belt Breakthroughs. Here we blend science-backed tools with amazing techniques like mindfulness, NLP, and visualization to help you take charge of your mind and enhance your everyday life. I'm Will Deek, a professor, and I'm a passionate martial arts practitioner. I've spent years diving into mindfulness, NLP, and visualization. I've had the pleasure of helping hundreds of clients along their journeys. Now let's get started on yours by introducing you to how you can use some mindful living tips to rewire your brain, reduce your stress, and live a calmer, more productive life. Let me begin by asking, do you ever wonder why your brain turns a presentation into what feels like a life or death battle? In the next 10 minutes or so, I'm going to show you how you can hack into your brain's stress response system. You're going to learn why your amygdala freaks out before important events and discover a powerful 30-second breathing technique that combined with a 4-part stress deconstruction method that's helped thousands of people reduce their perceived stress by up to 60%. These techniques, studied and validated by neuroscientists at Stanford and Harvard universities, physically rewire your neural pathways through mindfulness practices. By the end, you're going to have a personalized stress management toolkit you can use to implement and by tonight or tomorrow morning. Now, did you know your brain can't tell the difference between a real tiger chasing you and just thinking about a tiger chasing you? It seems wild, but it's absolutely true. Your brain reacts almost identically to both. So how does this work? Well, let's take a quick peek inside what I like to call your personal stress manufacturing plant. It's that incredible 3-pound organ sitting between your ears, your brain. You see, our brains evolved during a time when physical dangers were everywhere. That rustling in the bushes, you better assume that it's a predator and get the heck out of there fast, or it could be lunch. This life-saving mechanism helped our ancestors survive, and it's the reason that you're here today. But here's the thing. Your brain's still running on this outdated software, just like an old computer running Windows NT. I bet you can remember how great that was. That never got upgraded. Well, our ancestors needed this rapid response to survive. Today it misfires when faced with low-stakes challenges like an angry email or a tight deadline. And here's something that just might blow your mind. Researchers estimate that about 80% of the stress we experience doesn't actually come from dangers, but from random thoughts that are swirling around in our heads. We're actually creating most of our own stress. What type of insanity is that? When your brain perceives a threat, whether real or imagined, it kicks off a chain reaction, starting in your amygdala or your brain's alarm system. This almond-shaped region triggers your hypothalamus or your body's command center, activating the HPA axis, which is your body's stress superhighway. Within seconds, hormones like cortisol and adrenaline flood your system, along with norepinephrine, which helps prepare your body for a fight or flight response. Additionally, there's a release of glucagon. It increases blood sugar levels that provides the energy your mind perceives your body needs during that stressful situation. And your body doesn't pause to check to see if that threat's real. It just starts preparing you for action. Brain scans showed the same areas light up whether you're facing a genuine threat or just thinking about a stressful situation. Your heart races, your blood pressure rises, and your blood diverts from your digestion to your muscles, preparing you to fight or flee while you're just sitting at your desk simply worrying about an upcoming presentation. I want you to try this quick thought experiment. Close your eyes and imagine giving a speech to a huge crowd of bored, judgmental people. Do you feel your heart rate picking up? Are your palms getting sweaty? That's your stress response activating from a mere imaginary scenario. This happens because your amygdala processes emotional responses before your prefrontal cortex or your rational brain can evaluate whether the threat is real or not. Your emotions are outrunning your logic. While your emotions might get a head start on your logic, what if I told you that your body actually sends you early warning signals before that stress takes over? The problem is most of us miss these crucial clues, but Learning to recognize your personal stress signature could be the difference between staying calm and completely losing it. Just ask Mark. He's a corporate executive who eliminated his panic attacks once he discovered his unique stress patterns. You see, your stress response is as unique as your fingerprints. Mark's story illustrates this perfectly. This high-powered executive was experiencing intense panic attacks, seemingly out of nowhere, until he started tracking his physical sensations. He discovered his body was sending clear warnings like tension in his jaw and shoulders long before his mind registered stress. These physical reactions, whether butterflies in your stomach, shoulders creeping up toward your ears, or your jaw clenching so tight that you wake up with headaches, happen well before we consciously realize that we're stressed, giving us the perfect opportunity to intervene before it happens. Creating your personal stress journal can help you catch these signals, and here's how you can start. Take 30 seconds 3 times a day to do a quick body scan. Close your eyes, mentally check yourself out from your head to your toes. Where's the tension in your body? Is your breathing fast and shallow? Is your stomach tight? Write down what you notice along with what was happening at that moment. After a couple of weeks, your personal stress patterns will begin to emerge, and you'll have your own stress decoder ring. Once you spot these early warning signals, you can use them to begin immediately resetting your nervous system using a technology called a physiological sigh. Now, this simple breathing technique was developed by Stanford neuroscientists. It can help calm your body in just 30 seconds. All you have to do is take 2 quick inhales through your nose, like a double sniff, followed by 1 slow exhale through your mouth. This technique helps reinflate the tiny air sacs in your lungs and changes your heart rhythm to help shift you from stress mode to calm mode. Now, another powerful tool is cognitive reframing. When stress-reducing thoughts pop up, ask yourself, what's the evidence? For example, if you're thinking, I'm definitely going to bomb this presentation, challenge that thought. Ask yourself, what evidence do I have that supports this fear? And then what evidence do I have that contradicts it? This simple questioning technique helps your rational brain catch up with that emotional brain of yours. Beyond the cognitive techniques we just talked about lies an even more incredible power. And you're going to use them to start rebuilding your brain's architecture from the inside out. While the techniques we just talked about, thought challenging, is effective in the moment, mindfulness delivers physical restructuring of your brain that scientists can actually see on brain scans. These studies have found that spending just 8 minutes a day practicing mindfulness triggers measurable changes in the brain structure. This transformation happens through neuroplasticity, your brain's superpower to rewire itself based on your experiences. Think of your neural pathways like trails in a forest. The paths you walk most often become wider and easier to travel, while those rarely used get overgrown. Every time you practice mindfulness, you're clearing a new path that allows you to bypass your stress superhighway. But here's the interesting thing. Besides knowing that most people, they know about the benefits of mindfulness, most people never stick to it long enough to see results. They try it once, maybe twice, and since they don't feel instantly transformed, they give up before the magic can happen. It's like planting seeds and then digging them up the next day and then wondering why you haven't grown into huge trees. Researchers show that with just a few minutes a day, mindfulness can increase gray matter density in your prefrontal cortex, which is your rational thinking center that's responsible for decision making and emotional regulation. At the same time, it physically shrinks your amygdala, which is your fear center. So what you're doing is literally growing your calm center while shrinking your panic button. Would you like to feel this for yourself right now? Let's try the 4-7-8 breathing technique together. Here's how it works. Inhale through your nose for 4 seconds. Hold for 7 seconds. And slowly exhale through your mouth for 8 seconds. How does that feel? Imagine the sensation washing over you during the most stressful moments that you can imagine. That's your parasympathetic nervous system kicking in, shifting your mind and body into a calmer state. The benefits you receive from these techniques build progressively over time. After one session, you'll notice a temporary sense of calm. Within a week, many people report that they're more relaxed and sleeping better. By month's end, situations that previously triggered stress storms are barely causing a drizzle. One study at the University of Massachusetts Center for Mindfulness found that participants practicing mindfulness for just 8 weeks showed brain changes that were visible on MRI scans. The volume of their hippocampus increased, while the reactive amygdala, it shrank physically. The evidence of these studies is very compelling. Mindfulness-based stress reduction can decrease perceived stress by up to 60%. Practicing helps you create new default pathways for processing threats. Now, instead of racing straight down that stress superhighway, your brain can take the scenic route down a calm lane, helping you slow down your mind so you can better assess the situation. So let me end by asking, what if stress is just a choice that you're making in every situation? What if you could choose calm instead of anxiety every day? You actually have the power to transform your relationship with stress. And the mindfulness techniques we've explored here today aren't just temporary fixes. Science shows us they're creating lasting changes in your neural pathways, and people who practice these techniques consistently experience dramatic improvements in as little as a week. What's truly fascinating is something health psychologist Kelly McGonigal discovered. Simply believing that stress can be beneficial actually reduces its harmful effects on your health. It's not just positive thinking, it's rewiring how your brain interprets what stress means to you. So are you ready to experience this transformation? Then download our 5-day mindfulness challenge now. I'll drop a link in the description below. People have found it to be a great way to start their stress recovery journey. For example, Sarah from Portland told us, after just 1 week, my anxiety levels dropped by half. Join the thousands who've discovered that stress isn't their inevitable reality. It's a response they can control. Remember, your next breath holds the power to help you rewrite your entire stress story. One final thing. If you're enjoying this content, please hit that subscribe button. It's a quick and free way to support us, and we'd really appreciate it. And don't forget to check out the links to our social media, podcast, website down below, along with that link to our free 5-day mindfulness challenge. Let's make every day a little more mindful and a whole lot more awesome. Until the next time, this is Wildeek wishing you only success.